My name is Brian Wood. I'm a fourth generation farmer here for the family. This is actually year 74 for the main ranch here. We've been growing almonds for about 18 years now, and Holloway came in and was big part of the operation of removing the original orchard we'd planted, but we still grow row crops, in total about 1,500 acres between trees, onions that go to dehydrators. We got baby lima beans, cotton. We grow seed alfalfa, and it's been a few years, but we also do tomatoes occasionally. Unfortunately, we didn't want to remove trees that were so young. At 18 years old, it's pretty young still. We'd fought some Phytophthora issues about 7-8 years ago and brought the trees back, and they were producing well, but as we all know, the market's been pretty low on almonds, and water's really expensive out here in a federal water district, and that's been a struggle for a long time, not just for us, but for other growers. And the writing was on the wall that it was time to pull the trees out. It was a Butte Padre variety, so that's also a big reason, lower prices. And it was time to get back into some more row crops. So we decided to take advantage of the Air Board program to use our incentives to help pay for the big bill of removing these trees. And, we started this back in June, I want to say. Pretty smooth process to fill out the forms. They come out, they inspect it, they give you the green light, start knocking trees over and start the process. We searched around for a lot of companies to do the removal processes, and price is a big thing obviously, but in the end it's really about the quality of the job. And for us this year was the timing, the time frame. We want this field to be turned around so we can plant onions in it, which is from now, beginning of November, until about mid-December is the planting time frame for those. So there's a lot of other key aspects, timing, efficiency, trying to multitask operations going on in the field while the removal process is happening. You pulling the drip hose out, the irrigation system, valving, air vents, a lot of things like that are all having to be moved. And a lot of times we had not just us in the field, but Holloway and all the pieces working together. It's a lot of cogs to line up on a wheel. Yeah, so Holloway came in, they did all of our grinding for us. It was really smooth, efficient. You could definitely tell that they have all their ducks in a row. There was no standing around waiting to see what needed to be done next. They got here, they set up their equipment. They were here when they said they were going to be here, and they finished the project about 3 days sooner than they projected the entire project to be done. They left the field clean. There was no messes. As far as trash goes, I've seen that a lot in other growers' fields around the area where there's buckets of oil, broken parts, maybe even used parts that get left behind. They were really clean about the whole job as far as the quality of the grinding and the end result. There's definitely nothing I can pick apart on it. Very pleased with the end results. So, a quality job sometimes isn't the fastest job. And I understand that. A lot of what I do from day to day isn't necessarily about doing it the fastest, it's doing it the best and the most efficient way. And my time frame for needing these trees ground up to where I can start my next steps as far as groundwork and turning this ground around and being able to plant onions in a timely manner was very critical. But I wanted a quality job, and I wanted the best job done, because this is expensive, and even if it wasn't, I expect it to be done perfectly, and it was. There was nothing left behind that I said, man, I wish I would have used somebody else, because it wasn't done right. Everything is done right. There's no big roots, there's no big tree branches left. We're not having problems with the equipment on the preliminary passes behind their process, because there was things left behind. As far as the final process goes, after the trees have been chipped and the wood has been spread back out on the ground for the Air Board program, we have one chance to turn this dirt around, and not meaning get quality texture to plant something. I have one chance with a plow or a big disc or whatever a grower may choose as their process to incorporate the wood into the ground. For everything we do with row crops, we need to bury as close to 100% of this material as deep as we can, so that in the time it takes to decompose and no longer be a problem for trash in the field, we need it to be as deep as possible so that after the onions are done and the next crop is worked and that ground is disturbed, again, we're not bringing that material up. And so the sizing of the material and the fact that there isn't large branches or large roots left out in the field means we're not burying that stuff that will come back up in the next process, maybe not for this year's crop, but following crops until it has time to decompose. There is a drastic difference from going from a crop that is on a 22-foot wide spacing that you've had clean dirt in for the life of that orchard in between those rows, and now you just take all this plant matter and grind it up, and you have to bury it so that you can do other crops, and it also doesn't get into equipment and cause equipment damage down the road. That's another big thing that we're worried about. Some of the processes with onions is running a mulcher. Well, we've ran the mulcher for other growers behind trees, and we've caused ourselves a lot of damage and caused a lot of headaches, and on top of that, we've had growers unhappy with our end results because they didn't prepare the soil properly for us to come in and do what we needed to do to give them a good result. And so, that was something that was very key in choosing Holloway to come in, because I have seen what they've done on other locations in the past. Customer service for me isn't just about the quality of the work, it's more about communication. It doesn't matter how big or small a farmer is, or a ranch manager or a foreman's job may be, and how much or how little they oversee. We're constantly on the phone. We've got a million things going on that we're trying to keep organized and things happening in a timely manner, and making sure that the process is smooth from one process to the next, and that's across multiple fields or multiple processes within one field. Bringing Holloway in even before it was finalized that they were the ones that were going to grind our trees, the communication was there. It was constant. I didn't have to call and say, hey, have you got the quote ready yet? When will I have it? It was before I could think about calling and asking, I was getting answers. And that's the way it was throughout the whole process. It was almost daily updates of, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, we're going to be stopped for a few hours on this day. We have a major service to do on some equipment. So you see it parked, that's why. Instead of me driving by or another guy on the ranch driving by, say, hey, the machines are parked for like 5 hours today. Why are they parked? Well, they already told me. They have a major service to do. It's part of the operation. We know it's going on. I've worked with a lot of other custom outfits, not with tree removal, but custom outfits, custom operators. There's zero communication. Equipment breaks down and it sits there for 3 weeks and you don't know what's going on, and you're calling and there's nobody calls you back. The customer service is just really big for me.